Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Tesla Motors Club podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jerry.
Today we are doing a little watch party for the Cybertruck Delivery Event. And I guess episode number 55 starts now. Well, welcome, gentlemen.
Good
Thanks.
morning.
Jerry, long time no
Hey.
see.
Yeah.
Hopefully this thing starts on time. Tesla
It is a
has,
Tesla event, though. I mean,
Yeah, we have Tesla time to deal with you.
it is a Tesla event, and they do have a track record of being a little bit late. So we'll see how that goes. And the other thing about it is it's streaming exclusively on Twitter instead of
X.
YouTube.
It's X.
yeah.
Okay, X. I don't know that I could ever actually call
Gee, I
it.
wonder why they did that. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If I ran another company that did video presentation, I would want to have that synergy between my companies.
Yeah.
The only complaint, though, is that, okay, well, this is not a product that's as good as YouTube yet. And also, it does kind of hurt. I definitely feel like it hurts SpaceX. I watch every launch I get a chance to watch, especially the second test launch of of Starship. Actually went down to Brownville, Boca Chica, and saw that ship as a full stack like 3 months ago. And it was
Wow.
amazing to watch it launch, but the best coverage wasn't SpaceX because the quality just wasn't there. And people like NASA Spaceflight. Let's see. I'm just looking at this, and the broadcast ended. I think somebody screwed up. Somebody
Small technical problem.
messed up there.
Reboot.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if they have a. Oh, okay. Are they starting it in from a different? Okay, here we go. Maybe this is it. That's funny.
Techno music.
Yeah, that's funny though. That the link that they had, they just killed, and now here's another one. So hopefully, I'll mute this for now, but we'll see how this goes. We'll see if this works out.
You know, the pieces of the car flying at you don't, embolden you into a lot of confidence.
Really? Doesn't that give you a warm, fuzzy feeling?
Yeah. This is what happens when you hit a bumper or something like that.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's techie, that's for sure.
I'm sure they had a lot of meetings about this.
I'm not sure that they have any meetings about anything. But it's cool. I mean, what really is the point of this vehicle? I feel like it's just mainly about building excitement and hype or whatever. So people are certainly excited about it. I went out of my way to my local mall and saw the Cybertruck in person.
We had one at the local service center all set up that you could go down and walk around. You couldn't actually get into it. They had it roped off.
So yeah, that's how they had it. And what's funny is that the people, the Tesla employees there, they just sort of got out of the way. They didn't know anything about it, or like the people that come to visit know more about it than they do.
Well, do you think that's true, or were they just told to keep their mouths shut and
No, I think they
deny
legit
everything?
don't know anything about it. Just like we don't know anything about it. But it is. I will say it is different in person. Here's a picture I took yesterday, and like from this angle, it looks pretty short, but actually the thing is quite long.
Yeah.
But yet it's shorter than you expect it to be. Like I'm taller than it, I guess. For some reason, you feel like it would be like
It
one
looks
of these,
tall. Yeah.
huge F-250 looking type things, but it's not that big. But it does seem quite long. but also the look at this. So like
There you go.
this
That's a
Yeah.
slope, and it just seems it's so long. But imagine sitting in the back seat here. I mean, my sense is that someone back here has very little headroom because already at the B pillar here is the back of the front seats.
Hmm.
So
Is it that really that far back?
the seats, the back of the
Wow.
seats are here. So you know,
Did you get a
uh,
sense of how big the seats were? Are these like the same ones you'd find in an X or a 3 or a Y or something?
I guess so. I wish they had it completely. You can tell they closed and locked, like the
Mirrors are
side view
turned in.
mirrors are
Yeah.
folded. I wish they
Hmm.
had like a window down or something so you could see it a little better.
Hmm.
Um, but
Yeah. So here's a question I'm going to throw out, only because it's been all over Reddit and everywhere else I've looked, and that's the range. There's been a
Yeah.
whole lot of
oh
talk about the range,
yeah.
and the consensus
Right.
seems to be about 300 miles.
I mean, that's what it's looking like just from leaked photos of, people who've been test driving it just either yesterday or this morning. Marcus Brownlee, MKP,
Hmm.
Yep.
MKBHD.
yeah,
Yeah.
MKB HD.
Right.
Almost called him NKPhD, but no, BHD. He shared a photo just of the steering wheel, and I'm sure he and other people got vehicles to test, and also they're embargoed probably till after this event or maybe tomorrow. But you could see a corner of the screen, and it looked like that car was charged to like 90 something percent, and it said 260 something,
Yeah.
268, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a little bit of a ways from the promise. For me, the most shocking thing about the Cybertruck, I mean, obviously it looks kind of wacky and interesting. It's Blade Runner-esque. It's
Oh, very.
sort of a retro futuristic look. It evokes the brutalism of like the 70s,
Oh boy. Here we
with
go.
like concrete construction, but also the thing is though the future that this kind of look stems from is the dystopian future, right? So I don't know, what really is on Elon's minds there, but
Or Fritz, right? Isn't that he's the designer guy, right? So
oh, Franz, you mean?
Franz. I'm sorry,
Franz.
When you said
Franz.
Fritz, I thought you meant Fritz Lang,
No, no.
the guy
No,
who
yeah,
directed
probably.
Metropolis
Yeah.
back in the 20s.
No. Franz. I'm sorry.
Right. So anyway, for me, the most shocking thing was they said the base price was $39,000, and to me that was
Not gonna
amazing. Like,
happen.
wow, if they can pull that off, that's great.
Yeah.
And I kind of really doubt it. And then also at the highest end, um, the highest end version was supposed to have a 500-mile range. So the cheap one, I forget what it was, if it was 250 or 300. But the highest end was to have a 500-mile range. And, I don't know if Elon expected technology to be different, but I just don't necessarily see how they pull that off. But that's the kind of thing that you want in a truck, I guess.
Well, you need the range because as soon as you start towing something, your range
Right.
diminishes rapidly.
Right.
And
Now I've always wondered that. Does anybody have any experience towing with an ice like a Ford 250 or something like that? I mean,
I
is
have
it like halved or
no,
you know?
It's not
no.
halved, but it's a different equation, really.
Mhm.
I used to drive a 150, and I
Mhm.
used to drive a Ranger when I downsized. And when I towed with the Ranger in particular, it was a little V6, so it didn't have a lot of oomph. I'd take maybe a 20% hit on my mileage, 25% hit, depending on what the load on the trailer was. It didn't seem to
Right.
care how bulky the trailer was. It was all about the dead weight.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
That's not bad then.
I mean, it really is a different equation. In an ICE car, I mean, think about gasoline has the energy equivalence of 33 kilowatt hours per gallon, right? So, think about, you know, uh, actually a pretty good EV, right? With a pretty long range has something around 100 kilowatt hours. So the equivalent of like, 3 gallons, 3 gallons of gasoline, and yet they're getting over 250 miles of range, right? That's because
Yeah.
the efficiency is rather high.
Yeah.
You know, the car is getting maybe, I don't know, effectively 20 or 30%, you know, motion out of all of that gasoline energy, and you know, realistically, it might be even less. But so the added inefficiency of towing doesn't make that much of a percentage hit as driving an electric vehicle where you're 80 to 90% efficient, and then now you have something that is really putting a load on either, you know, the rolling resistance, the increased inertia, and also drag.
Got it.
So
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I've just looked at the chat. It looks like a lot of the people kind of agree with you guys, what you said about the efficiency of that. So good to know. I've never towed anything. So
yeah, and now the experience with EVs, like with the Ford F-150, and I guess people have towed with Model X's, is, yeah, their range gets basically cut in half.
yeah,
So, you know,
Now, I will say this, and this was an observation from my own towing days. Like I said, my Ranger would take a hit, but the
hmm
F-150 that had more torque and power available didn't take nearly as much of a hit for a given weight.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, if you got extra power, it doesn't seem to matter much. But
so hey,
Cool.
let's talk a little bit about the Cybertruck while we're still waiting.
hmm
You know, I have these photos. Let me sort of go through. There are a couple things that were interesting to me. One,
do you have one of the front camera?
I do. We'll get to that. I'll just sort of go through these in order, and I'm watching the Cybertruck thing in the side in another window, and it's just still they're going back to the video. So I'll bring it up as soon as it's live, just as long as just so viewers know. Anyway, so one thing I noticed here was you know, this is you know, the display.
Wow,
You know,
scrapes.
and look at these scratches, right?
hmm
And it seemed like this looks like, I don't know, just a brush. Looks like someone hit it with a,
Car wash.
yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Or stainless steel, maybe scrub pad or something
Or
like
yeah,
that on
or
it.
Scotch Brite or something even.
Yeah.
Trying to get the fingerprints off.
The the people working there at Tesla at this particular service, I'm sorry, this showroom, I guess, because it was in the mall. Um, they said they weren't even allowed to touch it. So, but that
Wow.
was,
Well,
yeah.
I do know, I posted some pictures in the forums on the Cybertruck of one
Hmm.
that we saw at the supercharger, and it seems to be a fingerprint magnet. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why they don't want
Well,
them
yeah. If it's
touching
anything
it.
like my
Oh, yeah,
refrigerator,
that
which is
makes sense.
stainless, I believe it.
But
Yeah,
yeah, if you look at it in general, there's a lot of weird kind of marks on it, and I guess that's just what you expect with stainless.
yeah, I think that's
And
just how the
is this
metal
raw
works.
stainless or is this actually like a clear coated?
No,
Does
it's just
anybody know?
stainless.
Raw?
I don't think there's anything in particular on it. I think that's probably part of the reason it's a fingerprint magnet. There's a grain to it,
Sure.
so there's actually, you know, microscopically, there's a lot of surface area. So
hmm
there are things that will just basically hold those oils.
Yeah,
So,
I,
so first order of business, I guess, would be ceramic coat it.
Yeah, I would think ceramic coat might actually be helpful in this case. So anyway, it was
it
interesting to
definitely,
see.
I ran my hand across it when it was at the supercharger down by us,
Oh,
and it definitely felt
so
like a
you left your
refrigerator.
mark on it.
It's got that
Well, not me,
same.
not
It's got
only
that same
me.
I
texture
see.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it feels just like your refrigerator. You know how the brushing, you can sort of
Sure,
feel it
Sure.
with your
sure.
Sure.
fingertip,
For that's the
like
style. I
that.
wonder when that style will change, but right now it's still stainless steel.
Yeah,
It's been
Still
that
like
yeah,
way
that.
for the last 10
yeah.
years. Um,
It was definitely an experience. And this one looks a little bit better. The
yeah,
alignment here in those corners looks better than the one we saw,
yeah. The
where you know, what do you call that in the back? A
With the
gate
tonneau
the
or
cover,
tailgate.
tonneau?
tailgate.
Oh, the cover.
Well, no, the cover retracts, so I
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
guess it's a cover or whatever. Where that lined up down there, it didn't quite. It was a little misaligned, and of
Hmm.
course there was like food and things in the back seat, so somebody was
Okay,
already
well, this
just.
is good news. It's probably one
Yeah,
of those journalists that'll be doing some testing.
yeah. I don't
Um,
know. It had Texas manufacturer plates on it,
well,
which was
they all
Is
will.
that our charge port there?
Yeah, so I believe this is the charge port, and we've seen
ah
pictures of it open. it's your standard Tesla charger. An interesting thing about it is they don't have the Tesla logo pretty much anywhere in the car except like maybe on the parts like themselves.
Is that a good place for the charge port though? Given
Not in my mind.
yeah,
I
I'm a
mean,
little,
it seems to me that they went out of their way not to have anything that goes through the doors. Like, on the Model 3, you have a side marker.
Right. No stamping holes.
Right. And you have a door handle too, right? But the side marker that has a camera in it, instead that camera is
It's
is
in the fender
here
flare.
in the
yeah,
fender here.
yeah.
And that was a feature I hadn't quite noticed before. But yeah, I think
I'm not convinced that's a good idea for a truck that people are going to be driving through mud and
yeah, but
God knows
anywhere
what
you
all.
put that, if you put it here, it'd get just as dirty, if not more so.
Yeah,
At least it won't get knocked off there.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Or it would be a lot harder. You'd have to take off
Yeah,
that
you have
whole
to take out the tire in the process.
yeah, and the garnish thing
There's
there.
been talk of losing the side view mirrors, like they're easily removed if they ever get approval to remove them. I assume that they don't actually need another camera, and that this camera is fine for the side view, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
similar
that's
to
probably
me to
more
see.
of a DOT type thing or something like that,
Yeah, but so I don't think they need to add like another mirror, another camera here, because I think
Yeah.
this positioning is fine.
Well, don't some cars in like Japan? I've seen renderings or pictures of ones where they have just a little stalk sticking
Yeah,
out there with the camera.
those are all concept cars, as far as I can tell, that do that. But and Tesla could choose to do that. But the point is that the vehicle will already have this camera,
Yeah,
so it might as well do double duty. And I think this is a fine position. So, they might as well just have that. I don't think they need to add another. Oh, okay,
but
here's another
surely,
kind of
surely
view.
probably a wider field of view than you get with your side mirror today.
Yeah, because it's looking behind you, but it's also got a pretty wide angle out here, and
Yeah,
being a little
if you
further
look at
from it's really good.
how much clearance they gave it there, it is a pretty wide lens. So
Yeah, and again with with these hardware 4 cameras, they have this sort of red hue. I assume they're using a high index ruby lens, which is something you would see on higher end binoculars for the last, I don't know, probably 50 years. So, and then here the detail of the B pillar camera.
yeah,
That looks pretty familiar.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I guess
Well, it is the new one though with the new lens though. Oh, there's a guy we know.
yeah.
You're not smiling.
To prove
Not
they're
at
my
all.
photos.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, in person it looks kind of interesting. Let's see. Here's that
Massive wiper blade.
yeah, that massive wiper blade. This is gonna be a great episode, and I just realized for the audio version. Should probably
Yeah,
cut all
well-
this for the audio version.
You gotta admit, that is a big wiper. I mean,
Wow, and it's
Well-
only gonna. I mean, imagine it's only gonna cut this arc. So
right.
Yeah.
It only gets 2/3 of the window.
Yeah, probably. So imagine this arc here. So
Right.
the
Yeah, the
passenger
passenger
isn't
got
gonna have a
screwed.
nice.
Doesn't get to see where you're going.
Hang your head out the window like a dog.
That's right. That's right.
There were rumors that at some point there might be an extra, like since it's so long, that there might be an extra articulation. So like in the path of the rotation, you'd get another sort of, it would swing out and sort of get more.
would you do
but
that?
it doesn't look like
Force.
it.
Some people were saying there's 2 blades in there. I don't.
Yeah, they could be just 2 blades side by side.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
maybe it's
side
so
by side or
long.
stacked, one on top
Yeah,
of the
I
other.
think that's what it is. It's just so
Yeah,
long that
yeah,
they
because-
stack them. But imagine in the middle, they need some overlap.
Yeah.
Those of us with early Model 3s are going to be very curious how the water actually comes out of the blade when you
Yeah.
go to clean the window.
I'm sure it's a similar idea that it's piped through, and they might have a little
Well,
jets.
the X does that though. The X pumps it through the blade. So
Does it?
Yeah, yeah. It
well, the
actually
early-
works well.
Yeah, the early 3s though had a big dry spot at the bottom because they just
Oh.
didn't get
So
any
the
water.
threes
there.
have at least my 3 has a nozzle on the wiper,
Well, I upgraded mine. I've got 4 nozzles now, or is it 5?
Well,
Ah.
The
okay.
very newest ones, they bumped up the count.
Okay, well, that's good. But the thing is, very quickly they got clogged. And so
Yeah.
instead of actually spraying the window, it just kind of dribbles over the window while I do it. And I had the mobile service guy come when I got the upgrade to the Hardware 3. And I said, oh, can you look at my windshield wiper? Because I used to spray on it, and it just did that dribble. And he said, oh, that's within
That's
spec.
normal.
Yeah.
Within spec.
Well, that's what it turned into, but that's not what it was. So I was a little disappointed with that. You think they could have just had a second wiper, which you see often in.
Like a smaller wiper, right?
Well, they could have mirrored this on the other side, and just had them sequenced.
Oh, go switch back and forth.
Like you see on buses or something,
Yeah.
so that you could have gotten a little more coverage.
Well, I wonder if the water actually on the X, the wiper is a special wiper, and it has holes in the wiper itself that where water kind of drizzles out, and it actually works quite well.
I never
tend to
paid
think that's
attention to it.
basically
I'll
the
have to
same
look
thing
next
we
time.
have.
Yeah. If you're in an X, just play with it. It's pretty neat.
I did get to drive an X a few weeks ago, and I have to say I really liked it.
Yeah. We're on our second one, and so that's it's been a
Well,
nice car.
the most amazing handling, SUV type vehicle I've ever been in.
Yeah.
So one thing I was trying to point out here in this video, in this photo,
Uh-huh.
there's a dent here.
Oh, you're right.
Oh yeah, I just looked at that.
Wow. Yeah. Now you see it. you
That
can't
didn't get a
unsee it.
buff out either, right? That's you got to hammer that out. I mean.
Yeah, you'd have to hammer it.
Yeah.
No paintless dent removal there.
Well, I mean, it might work. I don't know if they banged it from the back. I think it'd be neat if someone had like some electroluminescent wire, and just kind of lit the whole
like
outline
ambient
of the
lighting.
thing and the scenes
Yeah.
would be
Oh,
very
that'd be
Tron-looking,
really,
right?
the cyberpunk theme going there.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing they need is they need some lights on top, above the windshield, to get that
The off-road look.
apocalyptic survivor sort of look going.
Oh, I'm sure some third party will have it out within
Oh
days.
yeah. I think this car just begs to be customized.
It'll be tactical
yeah.
lighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
tactical
a
bumpers and tactical lighting.
camo wrap.
Here's a little feature I thought was interesting. Just
So
to,
ooh, interesting. They
just
cut
to
out
see
the
how there's
windshield
a
to put them
cutout
out.
of the windshield itself, and I just sort of I assume this is a plastic surround.
Oh man, that
wow.
means that piece of glass has to be formed that way.
It's custom glassed anyway.
Yeah. It looks like, but if you look to the right there, Doug, it looks like they had a little problem.
See that little chip
It's
right there?
it's a gasket. I mean,
Oh, you think it's a gasket? Okay.
yeah. I mean, it looks better than
See,
the roof of my Model
If
3.
this had been Apple, that would have been all one piece of glass. They would have just drilled right through it.
Yeah, that wouldn't. I don't think that would work out too well because this will probably vibrate some, and they don't want the stress of this thing
On glass.
on the glass. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm sure this is just some shiny plastic, and the motor is all under there. So yeah, it's a big wiper.
Man, you're not kidding.
Wow.
But I thought this was kind of interesting too, just the theme here. This just so the edges are so hard, like all these edges are just so hard. You really.
I like Kevin Dean's comment, what are the odds Twitter will be overloaded and crash?
That's a general.
That's a reasonable question.
When Tesla first did these things back in, I don't know, let's see, like they had most of their live events as far as the production for the for what went on live, what went online like broadcast live was terrible until they started doing it on YouTube. They used to try to actually serve them themselves.
Oh.
And then they did Vimeo for a little bit, and that was an improvement. And then they just started doing YouTube. But when they tried to do it themselves, it would crash.
Yeah.
Everyone would get
the order of magnitude to do a scaled event like this is tough.
Yeah. So hopefully Twitter will handle it. I mean, I'm looking like if we look at this right now, as it's still just running, it says like 100,000 or so.
107,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So
The few remaining IT folks are probably sweating bullets right now.
yeah.
I really do like, that little logo they used in the live thing. That
Well, so that
good.
is that is basically the logo of the car, and what's
Hmm.
interesting is it for our audio viewers, it's basically a kind of a side view of the of the of the what do you call it, Cybertruck. It's a side view of the Cybertruck, and what I've heard is under the actually I've seen it or a picture of it under the charging port.
Door.
Yeah,
Flap.
instead of having the Tesla T there is this Cybertruck logo.
Hmm.
So
That's interesting.
yeah.
Was there a spot for a hitch in that thing?
Oh, well, let's take a look.
There has to be.
Let's see.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Either that or there could be a lot of upset people if
I
they're.
mean, I'm sure
So
there's
the license
something.
plate
It
goes
might
on
be
top
underneath.
there.
I try to get a
Under
little
the
bit of
cover?
a. Oh, it looks like something's going on. Okay, let's see what's going on.
All right.
All right, let's see.
Oh,
Something's happening.
The unveiling. A lot of fun with that.
It
Well, they
has a
obviously have a
Cylon look
towing
to it.
hitch. Little crying Tesla girl.
there he is.
Welcome. Welcome to the Cybertruck Delivery Event. So I'm going to do it from the back of the truck here. Hey.
They need better
So
lighting.
once in a while,
They don't have a spotlight.
once in a long while, a product comes along
No budget lift.
that is rare. That is once every 5 to 10 years, something really special, a really unusual product comes along. And we'll remember those special moments when, indeed, special moments.
There's no spotlight, so you can see who he is.
So, but these things are rare. It's very rare that a product comes along that is seemingly impossible, that people said was impossible, that experts said was impossible. And this is one of those times. We have a car here that experts said was impossible, that experts said would never be made, that it really is the most, I think it's our best product. I think it's the most unique thing on the road. And finally, the future will look like the future. So what we're aiming for here is something that's more truck than truck. Okay. Thanks, bro.
Someone said they needed better lighting.
Literally
Yeah,
my
right.
brother there. So, and so what we have here is something that is a better truck than a truck, while also being a better sports car than a sports car, in the same package. So, first of all, let's, they talk about how, trucks are tough. That's one of the defining characteristics of a truck. So, how tough is this truck? Let's find out.
Oh no.
So we
we
actually
go.
had to come up with a special, ultra-strong, Tesla-designed steel alloy. So this alloy, this metal did not exist before. We needed something that you could actually manufacture, but that would have basically no corrosion, that didn't need paint, but you can still make it in volume. And part of the reason that it has this angular shape is you can't actually stamp these body panels. The body panels would break the stamping machine. So,
That will be a problem to fix.
oh, and I should say
Yeah.
also
It'll
because
buff
of
out.
the steel exoskeleton, it actually has more torsional rigidity than a sports car. It has more torsional stiffness than a McLaren P1. So that's a big deal. Now you may remember an incident 4 years ago. Didn't quite
With
go
a
as
steel
planned.
ball.
Yeah.
4 years
And
ago.
Franz,
Yeah, it's
maybe
been
we
4
should try
years.
it again.
Oh. Well, I'll give him points for being willing to do this.
Oh yeah,
There's no way. There's no way they will.
Oh wait, that's a tennis ball, right?
That's a baseball.
It's a
Oh,
baseball,
come on.
dude.
It's not the same test. And he whiffed it. He didn't really even throw it that hard.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
oh big deal.
Yeah.
he's still
Big
throwing
deal.
terribly.
I mean, I think we could probably have a pro pitcher love it if it still work.
No.
So anyway, it's the glass is tough, basically. That's what we're saying. So you don't have to worry about like rocks hitting the glass and cracking the glass. This glass is basically rock proof. It also makes the car very quiet. So it's the thing that you'll appreciate when you drive the car is how smooth and quiet it is. It doesn't feel like a normal truck. It's smooth as silk and silent when you drive it. So in terms of toughness, and then things like rollover, because the center of gravity is so low, it doesn't roll over. And if you're ever in an argument with another car, you will win.
looks like an X.
Yeah, I was gonna say we saw a similar test with the X.
Yeah. Oh.
Shoot the window.
Yeah, so
Okay, if I'm robbing a bank, I know which car I'm stealing first.
in movies, you sometimes see the hero or heroine hiding behind the car door while being shot with bullets. That doesn't actually work unless you're driving a Cybertruck. So if Al Capone showed up with a Tommy gun and emptied the entire magazine into the car door, you would still be alive. So, and so people say like, well,
It's a relatively low
why'd you make
velocity.
it bulletproof? I'm like,
Yep.
why not? Do you want to? How tough is your truck? Because the other trucks, the bullets go through both sides.
And
So you shoot a bullet, goes through both sides of the car.
Al Capone's Tommy gun is today's AR-15.
You just never know. I mean, sometimes you get these like late civilization vibes. You never know when the apocalypse could come along at any moment. And at here at Tesla, we have the finest in apocalypse technology.
I don't know.
I was on the Joe Rogan show, and Joe bet me $1 that his armor-piercing steelhead arrow would go through the car. He owes me $1. So.
They missed showing the actual shot. Here we go. Oh, and they cut it off.
Now, what about utility? So, strength is great, but is this perhaps just a show truck, just a showpiece, or can it do actual work? How does it work as a real everyday truck? Well, here we have the future towing the future.
No bias there,
Oh, none.
I mean, that's cool, right?
but it is good.
Basically, if you can fit any cargo in the trunk or in the bed, you can basically move it around. So it's got over a ton of payload capability, but you could really put more than that in it. You can tow over 11,000 pounds, and it's got a super tough composite bed, no liner needed. The bed is 6 foot long, 4 foot wide, and you can fit 4 by 8 feet, 4 by 8 pieces of plywood in with the back down. So, for those who are early into the truck world, there's something in the truck world called a truck pull. This is really the key test of how much power does your truck actually have.
Oh.
So you have to pull this 40,000 pound sled. And when we went to the track, we said, well, what's the best that you've seen? They said, well, it'd be the Ford F-350 diesel. It was like, well, let's put our truck up against that. The guy who runs the truck pool said, there's no way. There's no way. So, well, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
There we go. Run out of track.
We actually had to slightly turn the car at the end so it didn't hit the wall. So this, you have here a car that is, bullet tough, like that phrase, TM, and
You couldn't say bulletproof.
can outpull an
Yeah.
F-350 diesel. Has a massive towing capacity, massive bed. It's basically an incredibly useful truck. It's not just some grandstanding showpiece like me. It's actually very useful. Now, what about performance? So this, I should say, it has an adaptive air suspension. So no matter what the load is, you can always have it can set the ride height at low, high, anything. It'll automatically adjust the damping according to how much load it's carrying and the road conditions. It has a 17-inch ground clearance. That's a true 17 inches. Typically with a truck, you'll get the differential hanging down low, the rear differential, and that's what you'll high side on a rock. But this has a completely flat bed, so you could drive over basically anything. We actually took the Cybertruck on a Baja rally drive. So this is insane off-road capability. It has locking differentials, rear torque vectoring, and the crazy thing is they'll do this all in comfort. It has steer-by-wire, which is it's one of the things where most people don't know what that means, but it's how modern jets are designed. The steer-by-wire, which gives you variable gain. So if you turn the wheel the steering yoke a small amount in the parking lot, it will turn the wheels a lot. But if you turn it on a highway, it turns the wheels a small amount. So it dynamically adjusts how much the wheels turn according to what your speed is. And this actually makes it very easy to drive. It has a turning circle less than a Model S.
I want that on my X.
So this thing can practically turn it, rotate.
Love my
on
yoke, but
dime,
that's a
basically.
problem.
Yep.
It has incredible low-speed maneuverability. And then there's a lot of advanced details under the skin. It's the first time that a car is moving to a 48-volt low-voltage architecture from 12 volts, which has been around for 100 years. We have
Like
Ethernet
airplanes
comms, distributed controllers, allows for 70% less wire in the car. And it's really
Time we do it that
the
way.
internals are as advanced as the externals. It's a whole new step change in the technology. So let's take it to the racetrack and see how does the Cybertruck perform against a Porsche 911. And I should say this is an actual Porsche. We literally just got it from the dealer. 2023 Porsche 911.
This is going to be embarrassing the first time this happens in real life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have a lot of fun with my Model 3. I can just imagine the truck.
Yeah. Jeez.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, and it's towing.
Oh, you're not.
All right, that's good.
All right, yeah, that's some showmanship there.
That's awesome.
0 6 to 26.
That, all right, props to that.
Yeah.
So the
Is the 911 like a spare you get with a?
it can
Cybertruck?
That's
tow
right, that's
a Porsche 911 across a quarter mile faster than the Porsche 911 can go by itself.
All right, thumbs up for that one.
You know, every YouTuber
I should
is
say
going to try to
tougher than
reproduce
bullets.
that now.
Tow pretty much anything.
Can I borrow your 911?
Faster than a 911 while towing a 911. So, and deliveries begin now. Thank you.
Asterisk.
That's great. Yeah,
Now the mention about range.
yeah.
Or cost, yeah.
So,
That's what people really want to know.
Let's hope the brakes work. Do love the light bar.
That car's cool.
Light bar is cool. Had one of those drive by me the other day. It really stands out.
So I wonder if Dirty Tesla's going to get his.
Yeah. He lives up in Michigan. They should get some good wet.
I thought I heard he was supposed to get one.
Really?
People that-
I think he lives, doesn't he, like in a not an off-road, but a not there. no
Not
paved
quite-
streets.
Right, not quite off the grid, but close.
Yeah. He seems pretty cool.
People that are getting delivered are employees.
Well, I'm going to Austin tomorrow, and I have renting a
Take
Tesla. You
delivery.
think this? What's the probability they'll give me one of these? Not good, huh? Some random person?
So we're just, these are the actual owners. We're handing over production Cybertrucks to their actual owners. Thank you for buying Cybertruck.
Still haven't said how much.
Yeah. So Elon, every time you buy one, he shows up at your door, drops it off.
Yeah.
I'd buy one just for that.
As long as they come fully charged.
Oh, hi.
Model 3 was.
Nice, sure. Absolutely. Just open the, I think it's between box. There we go.
You got me the best driver in town.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do they have to run it by the gunfire next, or something like that?
I haven't seen any electric plates on these.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours, but you have to leave it here for the next 6 weeks.
Guys got the manhole on it.
Invest in women's sports. That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. As managing a girls' soccer team, I can appreciate that.
There you go. Your team will have to get one of these.
Yeah, right. Team.
Well,
truck,
as you can
right?
see, we've got
Team
quite a
truck,
few
yeah.
to deliver here. So, hi. Thank you. Oh wow. Okay. Welcome.
Somebody just posted they hope they'd
You enjoy
actually
your
say the prices now.
It's interesting. They've had to struggle with the door on most of these.
I'm curious to see how well that light bar illuminates. I imagine it's fairly decent. There's no, since it's continuous.
Well, it's got to meet dot standards at least.
Yeah, I would hope it would exceed it with having essentially a solid bar light.
All right. So the question is, how many? 10?
All right. Hey. I can see
How
you.
many trucks are they going to drive off today?
I heard 10 was, 10 was the rumor, right? I heard.
I mean,
Yeah,
before
just,
I predicted less than 20, 20 or less. So.
You're right on, Doug. I'd be so nervous. I'd probably worried about taking out somebody there.
Well, I wonder if the actual owner is driving or if they've got an employee driving with the owner as shotgun.
It's an
Maybe.
employee driving.
Yeah.
And the owner is just
I
getting
would
one
think
passenger
liability.
Yeah, okay, that makes
in
sense.
front of this big crowd. I saw when they did the crowd shot. I saw Kimball Musk in the back taking a selfie, wearing a
Yeah, well-
cowboy
Well,
hat.
this is a delivery event, you know.
That's what he said. Didn't Elon say that his brother was yelling?
Yeah, his brother was here.
Great.
Yeah.
This is the button for open it. And that's it.
Hope that guy isn't waiting for a roadster.
Well, you know,
I mean, it's going to be amazing to
they
see
give
all
you
these
one of those
cars
instead of a
driving
roadster
around.
as a whole placeholder.
So, I'm going to be the curmudgeon for a moment, but I'm willing to bet the only way to get insurance on this thing right now is through Tesla's own insurance company.
So just press this button.
Well,
I
some-
can't
highly
imagine
vertically
anybody
integrated.
underwriting these.
yeah. Who has access enough to have any sort of thought of costs?
I mean, this is really going to change the look of the roads. I mean, in a parking lot, one of them does not look like the other. So, okay. See?
think that's a plus,
hey, how's
that
it going,
comment.
Hey.
I'd like to see more variety on the road.
Yeah. Well, me too. I think it'd
There
be
we
cool
go.
if they,
Picture time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
do some anodizing or something like that. I want maybe a gold tint or something.
Gold tint.
That sounds terrible.
Buff it up,
like
man.
gold.
Reminds me
Make
of
it
that
shiny.
black gold commercial for Nissan. Black gold, the dude with the big
gold.
mustache. Black gold.
I can see bringing your kid to this. It would be a huge,
Yeah.
memorable event. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Get his picture. He'd be
Yeah, that's
front page
definitely
news in the
talking
hometown,
to
right?
school.
Been to several of these Tesla events, and they're mostly pretty good parties.
So I wonder how long ago these guys ordered.
I'm sure they ordered day of the
Day of?
of the
Was
launch
that
event.
4 years now?
November
4 years.
2019. I only remember because that's the opening of Blade Runner, November 2019, and that's what they were going for.
Well, if you're gonna have a mnemonic for something, that works.
I ordered my F-150 Lightning whenever first day it came out, and then canceled it about a year ago.
Yeah, well, I ordered my Lyric
All right,
when
thank
it
everyone.
came out, and I canceled that 2 years later.
Thanks for coming to the Cybertruck Delivery Event. And you witness to what?
That's it? Pricing.
That's it.
Oh, one more. Okay, sorry.
One more.
One more. The dude's going, hey,
Hey,
wait.
what about my car? Oh, I'm sorry, we only made 9. Oh, they probably need to have one
We
loop
got a Model
around.
3 consolation car.
Oh, that's terrible. That's it? Come on. They probably need to kick one of the passengers out and loop it back around.
Quick, bring the car around.
Oh, man. That's embarrassing.
It's the same car, they're just cycling it through.
It could be.
I wonder if that's water he's got in the glass bag.
How can they? Oh, hey, that's Ira Aaron Price. He was a board member, and he spoke at our event in 2016.
Somebody said the price.
All right, thanks everyone for coming to this
I'm
delivery
checking.
event, and appreciate your support. This is really gonna, like I said, change the look of the roads, and finally the future will look like the future, and it's really gonna be something special. Thank you.
I'm bringing up the Tesla site right now to see if there's a price on it.
Cool. Dude, where's my
68,000. Okay, here we go. 49,890 for
This is really
rear-wheel
gonna,
drive.
like I said, change the look of the roads, and finally the future will look like the future.
68,890
And it's
all-wheel
really gonna be
drive.
something special. Thank you.
96,300 for Cyberbeast.
Wait.
That's the
I'm
3-motor,
sorry.
tri-motor?
me-
Cyberbeast is their high-end, only 320 miles of range.
Okay, so this thing is done. So it's so tell me again now, Mike. Actually,
Okay,
let me find
so-
it. It's on the website. You said.
Yeah, rear-wheel drive, available in 2025, with a 250-mile range, is 49,890.
So that's a car that'll never be built.
That's right. All-wheel drive, which is delivered in 2024, 340 miles estimate, is 68,890. I was guessing 75, so I was close.
Wait,
Yeah,
so where is
that's-
this? I go to the site
It's
and
yeah,
I'm on
it's
the
just
site,
listed with
yeah.
every other car, just
Right,
under the vehicles.
click Cyber Payment, then click on Payment. Cyberbeast, which is the high-end, doesn't say how
Order
many
now.
motors it has, 96,390.
Cyber Beast is going to be is a tri-motor. Okay, so here we go. Rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, they'll never build that.
No, the Cyber Beast they will definitely.
I'm talking about the rear-wheel drive. They'll
They'll do
No.
it. I don't know that they'll get this price though.
if they're not going to deliver the 2025, I bet they push it because they're going to be pushing the all-wheel drive, just like they did with the Ys.
Yeah, they may decide that it's nobody wanted them like
That's
they did
right.
with the,
Because you couldn't get it.
they
'Cause you
played
couldn't
that
get
game
it,
several
yeah,
times. They did that with the Model S back in the day with the 40
Well,
kilowatt battery.
wait. That is the probable savings price. Let's click the purchase price at the top there, Doug, and
Oh, that makes a lot
Oh.
more. Look at this.
Rear wheel
Yeah,
drive,
that-
60,000 all wheels, 79.
Okay,
Yeah.
this makes more sense.
Crap.
Yeah, and then 100K
Well,
for the Cyber Beast.
I said 75, and it's coming in at 79 for the mid tier. So
yeah,
So what were they? Did they even say what they're delivering right now?
no, not that I heard.
And all-wheel drive means what? Means two motors.
Two motors.
A
Yeah,
front
dual
motor
motor.
and a rear motor. Is that,
That would
what
be my
all-wheel drive
guess.
means?
Hey, interesting. The top speed is considerably lower. On the if you look on the
4.1
all-wheel drive,
second.
112. Just in general, 112 is.
Well,
there must be a limiter.
that's
I
interesting
assume.
because the drag coefficient says it should do better.
Yeah, I wonder if it's artificial limiting.
I mean, a Rivian is 0.28, and a Ford Lightning is 0.44. So the Lightning's got the drag coefficient of a brick.
Or an F-150, one way.
Well, not much difference.
Yeah.
So, wow.
The range that's crazy short range for the rear wheel drive though. And then
Yeah.
if you tow anything with it, you're talking probably 100 miles, 150 miles.
Well. range
Well, I say
250.
that because we were at the supercharger a week ago, and there was a guy with a Model 3 towing a small trailer. He had an extended range, but his range with the trailer, a very small trailer, was 100 miles.
Wow.
So
What speed? Do you know what speed he was going?
65. You
Just
couldn't
at
go much.
65,
Yeah,
huh?
you couldn't go any slower. You get run over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was.
Well, that's
it
right.
was
You're in SoCal, so
we,
yeah,
we are
65.
not as bad as Arizona, but it's
Yeah.
bad enough.
Or Texas.
I haven't been to Texas in a very long time.
I go there 3 times a year. You do not do 65.
Yeah, Arizona was like 75 minimum.
So anyway, that's pretty interesting. So okay, so they didn't get the 39.99
Not even close.
0, but that makes more sense.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's been 4 years. And
but yeah, that is I guess disappointing. And yeah, will they ever actually make it? They'll make it if they ever get get their production worked out.
the
which clearly they
range is
haven't yet.
disappointing. I mean,
Yeah, the range is disappointing. But, price-wise, I've had contractors come and show me their new Dodge diesel Ram that he spent
Oh, yeah.
110K on or something like that.
well, a Rivian. I mean,
Yeah.
a Rivian's going for 95 to 98. So
Is it?
Yeah,
For the
for,
R1T?
for the high end. For the high end.
Yeah,
Rivian.
the high-spec R1T.
So I think it's worth pointing out, when they gave those specs, like they showed that race, that drag race between the Porsche 911 and then the Cybertruck towing. I'm sure that they gave specs right after that race and said 2.6 0 to 60, 11
Yeah, well,
seconds.
that's their Cyber
But-
Beast. Yeah.
But that's their Cyber Beast, and clearly that wasn't towing, right? That's what they would get if it wasn't towing anything, right?
Right.
So it's a little bit misleading to show those figures.
Well, I priced a Lightning about a month ago when Ford dropped their price, and to get the Lightning in today's market with a few bells and whistles, not a lot, but I wanted the power pack in the bed so you can like charge other cars and things, and I wanted to be able to reverse power the house. Came in at 70K, or sorry, 74K when it was all said and done, and that was
So-
their bigger battery pack.
So that's comparable to the
To the
all-wheel
rear-wheel drive.
drive?
Yeah.
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 Is it rear wheel? No,
No, the rear wheel. The price initially, 60K, is comparable to the Lightning, but the Lightning's kind of useless at that price point.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, I saw a comment. I'm like, I guess this is a joke. He said, if you scroll all the way down in the main page, they say 440 plus miles with range extender. I'm sure you're joking, right?
What's that?
It's
You
got a
take one of
Rex-
your
it's-
power.
right.
You
It's
take
got a
one of your
Rex-
power walls and bolt it in the back or something.
No, it's a little generator you're putting in the bed.
So let's see. For all the naysayers, I did honor. Where did that go?
35K on the 3. Yeah.
Standard range 3. Eventually, yeah,
Did they?
I don't think so.
After incentives or
It was after incentives. They didn't honor it just out of the gate.
Yeah.
main page not order page. All right, we're looking.
All
Let's
right.
see. Let's see if
We
it's there with the range extender. There's like a gas range extender. I feel like I'm being. I feel like I'm being.
I think it's a power wall they dropped in the bed. You know?
Oh, yeah, that would
it'd
make
have to be a
sense.
power wall, right?
Yeah, they could do that, but
Power wall's
Anyway.
what, 10K of
I'm not.
battery
I'm not
capacity?
seeing. I'm not. Seeing,
No,
I
no,
feel
no.
like we're being
14.
14? All right.
14 each.
Oh, so you could stack them in the bed. There you go.
Yeah, you can put.
You got
I
a
believe
ton
you
of
can-
you got a ton of you got a ton of capacity back there for power walls.
I believe you can hook 7 power walls together, and just 14, 14, 14, 14, 14.
Oh, so I could put 2 in the bed and have a trailer with 2 more on the bed. Might take a while to charge it at the supercharger. But
Okay, so Michael Lee mentions the steer-by-wire was a big deal. Is a big deal for me. I hope that tech comes down to the future Teslas. So I would
Yeah.
really like to know exactly how that is being implemented, because I tend to think there still is a a steering column, right? That gives
Well,
you a
it's
mechanical
yeah,
connection.
but it's just turning like a rheostat or something
Yeah, I
like
was
that.
thinking
that's
a pot
sending
at the
sig-
end of it, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
would that make sense?
Yeah.
If
Well,
you're-
that's
if you're
that's
just-
how.
well, it
that's
would probably be
how,
a digital
Lexus
encoder,
do.
but
Yeah, and then it
Well,
because
there
they
would
have.
be I mean,
they
what
have-
I've seen is there would be an encoder, and then what you would get is a variable amount of assistance. So the steering, you could have an adding to the steering. I find it hard to believe. I mean, it's possible, but I find it hard to believe that you'd lose the mechanical connection. I don't know that they're allowed to do that yet.
Well, they didn't mention it, but supposedly the rear wheels turn too.
Now that
right?
would be steer by wire, the rear. And
Yeah.
that would
So
be
since you got to go that way,
that would be fine.
Yeah.
But I would think that you'd still have some basic control if the thing died, right?
well, you may very well. It may have a default mode where it goes back to some mechanical.
And it could
Lock.
just be like a variable gear ratio or something.
so
on the,
Seb's
on
got
the
a
steering.
screenshot. And he's got range extender, 440 plus miles.
Okay, someone send that to me, or can you share it, Mike, and I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting, and I want to know what they mean by range extender.
Well, that's kind of an interesting question, isn't it? It's in Discord if you want to.
Yeah, if you can pull it up, I got enough things going on here. But yeah, I don't see it on the main page, so I'm just wondering where you find it. Where you find that information. And what is I assume the range extender would just be batteries in the bed.
More than likely.
But I mean, they did. I wish they could have been a little more realistic at the launch. That was 4 years ago. Not just on pricing, but range. So that's a little bit disappointing.
On the site, they also remember I mentioned earlier. I think before we went online that it would be neat to have a light bar above the windshield, and they're actually showing.
They have that as an accessory.
Oh, okay.
Is there an accessories page already? There are a number of
Well, let's order one, and we'll see if we get that.
there are a number of accessories that Tesla is going to first party offer, which typically the third party does that, and things like the light bar, that's not legal in every state, so it makes sense to have that as an accessory where you could buy it in states where it's legal, and
Yeah.
maybe buy it out of state if it's not legal in your state and just leave it off until you drive out or whatever.
So it looks like they're showing a light bar, and then kind of a tent thing that hooks into it,
Let's
and
see.
a spare.
I don't see Cybertruck accessories on the main page.
No, in the Cybertruck itself, it has.
Okay,
It
can you
has
just
an
send me a
accessory.
link?
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
Well, you just got to scroll down, on that main Cybertruck page.
Okay, so here, or learn more maybe instead of order now.
I don't know. Just keep scrolling down and.
I got nothing there. So
No,
let me
okay.
go back to the learn more part.
URL just shows slash Cybertruck. So
Okay, yeah, maybe this is it. Here you go.
yeah, keep going down, Doug. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Built for
Well,
any planet. Why even say that?
yeah.
That's nonsense. It's
Well,
not
the
going
good
to
thing was
survive.
it would work on Mars
It would not work
with
on Venus, okay?
yeah. No, that's a little too hot.
It would not work on
A little
Venus.
too much pressure, a little too
And
hot. Yeah.
and I'm sure there's liquid cooling that would just boil away if it were on Mars
Mm.
even, so. No paint, no chips. Okay, good idea.
Still trying.
Shatter, yeah, that
Yeah,
baseball is,
baseball.
that baseball is, what did somebody say? It was a weak sauce?
Yeah,
And the way he threw it too was
it was kind of
so limp.
it was,
Yeah, I was like, what are
yeah,
you
a
doing,
little
buddy?
limp-wristed there.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pack it up. Load it up. Okay, into the wild. Okay, travel up to 340 miles on a single charge, enough to get you to the backcountry and beyond. Recover 136 miles of range with just 15 minutes of supercharging. Okay,
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
so that's
Yeah,
what?
if it actually does that.
That's
It's
500
optimal
miles an
conditions,
hour.
right? Yeah.
Charging at 500 miles an hour.
Yeah, we see, you see almost 1,000 on some days.
Mm-hmm.
There it
Dopamine
is.
on tap. All right.
Uh-huh.
I like this little accent. That's good.
Yeah,
The
so that
light thing.
range is at the bottom, and you got to scroll sideways.
It's not clear to me if the rear
Here we go.
glass
Hmm.
drops is okay. So I guess I just have to scroll or something.
No,
Hit the
no,
little
those
hit-
little
no.
little
Hit,
Yeah,
yeah,
there we go.
yeah.
keep going.
All right, let me make
One
this
more.
a little bigger in the.
Okay, scroll down, scroll down.
I was trying to make it a little bigger in the
Right
share,
there,
but
range
forget it.
extender.
Yeah, there it is, top line. Top
Yeah.
line, second
Now,
column.
what I haven't clicked, so you're gonna have to click, is that's for the Cyber Beast range extender. I wonder if you can get that on the other ones.
Oh, look at this. It
Yeah.
says 470 and then not available in the rear wheel drive because they don't
All
want you
right.
to buy it.
There you go.
That's what they did with the Model
Click
S.
the order now and see what it on the all-wheel drive and see you click that option what it says.
It just takes me back to this.
Oh,
page.
it just takes you there, huh?
But
Maybe
yeah.
not available
So this
yet.
is interesting. And they just don't tell you about it, huh? So I guess what's going to happen is these two will be available soon, and this one they probably haven't finished engineering yet. And that's what they did with the Model S. I mean, they
So-
launched with the 85 kilowatt hour
Right.
vehicle.
So
and,
Rocky brought up an interesting point. They had cut off orders for quite a while, so I thought maybe they would honor the original price for the early reservations. I mean, we're looking at if we reserve it right now, but he's got a point that if you had your reservation in for the last 3 years, 4 years, are they going to hit you with the new price, or do you get the original
I'm
price?
sure you're not going to get the original price. Yeah,
What's previous history tell you on that one?
I mean,
One can hope.
I mean, they've done this
Yeah.
many times, so you're not going to get the original price.
Yeah.
Well, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to order one.
For the streets of LA, you never know,
Well, I mean, that's a valid point. Driving through downtown LA.
I think it's interesting. I'm glad for it to exist, and I feel it is a little bit of a distraction. Like the design aesthetic isn't necessarily one I would like to see through the rest of the Tesla range. I don't really care for that to, be what, the 2027 Model 3 looks like or whatever.
But you know what this will do is this will push the other manufacturers forward, whether they like to or not. I mean, you got a truck that's really fast. It's got some very interesting tech in it. For roughly the same price they're charging for their current old school selections.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because I remember seeing something on a F-150 thing, and they were showing like a 1930s Ford,
Yeah.
and a 2000 and whatever
Yeah.
it was at the time, And there was like, okay, but you can definitely see you started here.
There's a family
did
resemblance
some
there.
did some tweaks, right? You're 2 generations down the road, right? Married somebody else that had a bigger nose and
That's right.
or whatever.
Um, well, I was saying again, they honored the release pricing on the 3. I think that's just a different class of vehicle, though. Uh,
It'll, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that, whether anybody, if they do that. But
yeah.
Well,
Um,
I really would like to see what the insurance on this will cost because it's not going to be cheap.
I mean, there are other exotics and expensive things, and
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
uh,
Yeah, Molly, you're right. Yeah, it certainly seems to have quite a bit of demand. I just kind of wish Tesla sort of focused on the things that matter. I mean, it's my opinion, that matter a little bit more. The lower priced, more volume vehicle, I think, is more important. I think getting the semi right, which is taking longer than it should, I think, is more important. But this gets people talking about Tesla. Builds brand awareness. So I mean, there's
It
something
does
to
do
that.
that.
Tesla doesn't really pay for advertising, but this is a kind of way of generating, awareness, brand awareness. So, I guess you could sort of redo the equation on that. I just think it's going to take them a long time, and it's definitely taken them a lot longer than they wanted for them to figure out how to properly manufacture this thing. And it seems like it's going to be difficult to manufacture after, at least paying lip service
Well,
earlier to designing for manufacturing and what they
and
what they talked about when they went through with the Model X about how that
this
was
is Gen 1, so we'll have to see what kind of bugs arise when they roll this out for actual people to putz around in.
yeah.
yeah. And so it's interesting. There's people that got it. I mean, like I recognize at least one board member, and probably people that are related to employees, or so there are people that are close to the company, and I don't know what kind of.
Oh, they're not going to
So
give one of these to Monroe? Let him tear it down?
he will get one as soon as he can, I'm sure.
yeah, as soon as he can buy one, or they'll try to. They'll probably have a bounty out for one or something.
I'm sure
like
they
that.
will.
If Tesla will allow them, I guess they retracted that disallowing of people to resell.
They
their,
did. They
Yeah.
did disallow and
I
back
mean, that was
away
just
from that.
too embarrassing. I mean, you bought something, but clearly you don't own it if you're not allowed to sell it, right? If you don't actually own it, then you're renting it or
Yeah.
something.
That sounds like an Elon. Sounded like a good thing at 3 a.m. and then he
Yeah.
thought about it at 10 a.m. and went, "Oh yeah, that
Wow.
I didn't see
or
a- I
or
didn't see
people
a lease.
people reacted to it, and then they sort
I
of
didn't see a lease option for the truck.
you do you?
But you didn't see a non-purchase option then, huh?
Yeah. I
Ah.
need to go back and verify that.
Yeah, I don't see a lease option. I
I can't imagine there won't be one. Maybe it's just not available yet.
they yeah, they have no reason to lease it now. 'Cause
Yeah.
if there are any problems, then it's on.
Especially since I'd have to give it back.
Yeah. So I mean, the demand is high. People are interested in it.
Yeah, there's no lease. I put all my information in, give them my credit card, off you go.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that happened. So let's see. so
Short event for Tesla.
let's think now. What's important now? Like we made predictions, or in a previous show with Mike, we had predictions on like how many they will make
Yep.
by the end of first quarter next year.
Yep.
I still think it will be in the single thousands, not single thousands. I'm sorry, below
Hundreds.
10,000. It will be that order of magnitude.
Well, the end of the year is what, 30 days away?
I think they delivered for the year. I think that's it. The 10. I don't think they're going to deliver any more this year.
I would agree with that, but they're going to have to get the line up and running, whatever they're doing. They're working with the new material.
Yeah.
They're working with a lot of new things.
Yeah.
This is not 3 to Y level change. This
no,
is,
it's a sea
much
change.
bigger.
Now,
Yeah,
with the Y, though, there was the talk of like Elon wanted to go to 48 volts then, and he got talked back on it, or got talked out of doing that because it was a little too many extra things, and that was part of that was what they learned from all the extra things they tried to do with the X.
Right.
And here's the Y, which is supposed to be essentially another 3, but a little bigger. I mean, that's what it basically is. So it's nice that they've done that, and these are things I would like to see filter through the rest of the line. Making the low voltage stuff 48 volts means that for the same amount of power you can have less copper, right?
less wire. I mean, aircraft have been doing 48 for a long
For
time.
years, for
yeah,
years.
Airliners, they have to because they'd have to carry so much more wire if it were 12
Yeah.
volts. It
Right.
would cut into their payload.
Right, and there's mass associated with that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas there's not much a difference in the insulation between 12 volts and 48 volts.
Well, yeah, in an aircraft, if you look at the wiring, the insulation is super thin. It's quite thin, those things.
Well, but it's also not polyvinyl chloride, or
Yes, that's true.
It tends to be Teflon, or they're something that doesn't go in flames.
Yeah, that's what
Abrasion resistant.
Well, maybe Tesla went that way too, though. I
Maybe.
mean,
Maybe.
the technology is there. Boeing can pump out how many planes a year that have miles and miles of this stuff.
True.
So
Funny you
somebody's
should
making-
mention Boeing, though, because this very issue came out with the Starliner, right? That the wiring, it turned out the insulation on the wiring was flammable in certain conditions, so they had to
Whoops.
rewire.
Whoops.
Can you imagine?
It's one thing to do it on a car, another thing when you're at 30,000 feet over the Atlantic.
Well, we
Or
used
you're
to
in
have
deep
an assortment.
space.
We had we did
Not deep
Teflon
space, but say
wiring
low
for
Earth
years for the military, and then they realized the Teflon, while it didn't burn well, it wasn't very good at abrasion. So then we had to wrap things in Kapton tape,
Yeah.
which was a pain in the butt to use, but
I have a lot of experience with Kapton tape. I use that in
I have none, so I'll depend on you guys.
I use that in cryostat stuff. So
it's good stuff.
different things to something that's going to be at 4 Kelvin or whatever.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And it's insulating, and so it's worked out.
Oh, well, we digress.
Yeah. Anything else to talk about this? So I guess Jerry, how many do you think they're going to deliver in the first quarter of next year?
I think if they get 5,000, they'll be lucky,
You're optimistic.
Yeah.
I suppose,
Like I said, lucky.
I suppose they could. They're trying to ramp up. I suppose they could get a few more out this year. And given the way they did this event, I'm glad it was just 10. Like I didn't need to sit and watch 20 people be delivered like that.
Here's your key. Here's your
They
key.
did it at the Model 3 delivery event. It was a little less slow. What they had was all the cars were just parked there, and then they let the owners go out. It was like in the parking lot of wherever it was. I tend to think
Fremont,
of Fremont. Yeah.
Fremont Delivery
And
Center. or something
This seemed a lot more tightly controlled.
This was controlled. They weren't allowed to drive it themselves. And instead of having 20 people or whatever it was at the Model 3 event just walk out to their cars and drive away, they
Well,
they
so
get a little ride.
So my thought on that is these first 10, 20, or however many they've got behind the scenes are probably mostly hand built. I mean, they probably ran it through the assembly line as much as they could, but I'll bet money it's mostly hand built, and they're probably not done yet, which means they have the employee driving just in case. The owner is the owner, but you don't get to take it home today. That'd be my thought. And
Well,
I
there's
guess we'll
another
find out in
point.
the next few days.
Yeah, there's the other point Doug brought up about certification of a drive-by wire system on, regular old down the interstate there in front of, right down the road there from the factory. So that you got to push that through Texas DOT or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, but people are driving them on the road, so
That is true, but with
Well,
manufactured
but
plates.
yeah, I was going to
so-
say that's a manufacturer plate, and that's a different beast.
Yeah, that the certification is not to, I don't think, final, delivery to just the average guy.
So, let's see, just to see what's going on Twitter here. I mean, we do have like images like this, but these may be the 10 that they went out. I mean, he's making a point of making it look like they're all on a production line here.
Yeah. Right.
Is that
Pictures
really
lie.
production line, or did they just make them and then just line them up?
Pictures lie.
Yeah. Well, how many you got? You got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Six,
It looks like you took maybe 7 or
maybe,
8.
in this photo. So that's
Yeah.
probably the ones that got quote unquote delivered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
like I
know.
said, they probably ran as much through the line as they could, but I doubt seriously it was end to end production.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd want to have one of those 10, as an
Oh.
everyday driver. Oh, there's
Was he-
Dirty
what,
Tesla.
what was
Yeah.
he asking for? 10 micron or 10? No, what was the spec he
Oh
wanted?
yeah, he basically
Some insane spec.
Yeah, he wanted precision to the to something like the 10th of the millimeter or less. I don't know.
I don't remember
but
offhand.
whatever it was the kind of thing where like if I were machining optics, it would be pretty good and also pretty expensive. Like things like
Well,
to get that
precision
level of
costs money.
precision
I
takes
mean,
a lot, it takes a lot more time.
Yeah, but doing it in stainless.
these are cool
that's-
pictures.
Yeah,
That's-
this is Dirty
that's
Tesla, and he's at the scene, so it looks like they have.
So that's the rear. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the.
So they've got
Yes.
giga castings for the rear. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is it though? This looks like two different materials here. This looks like one piece, maybe.
Yeah, well, the bottom at least there is
Yeah.
is one.
And this looks like a single motor. Is this the front or the rear? This is the rear.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
rear.
rear.
And that looks like a single motor setup as opposed
Sure.
to the dual motor. That's
Yeah,
in,
it's not a
say, the Plaid
tri-motor
X.
unit. Yeah.
And so here's the other thing I was curious about was this window.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that come down or not? It looks like it doesn't. Because people that want to camp in the car or whatever, they want this window to be able to come down so that you get the
Pass through.
HVAC into
Yeah.
it's when they have like a tent or something. So I don't know if that's actually happening or not. Then again, this is an incomplete demo, so that window might just be tacked in or something. But
Little RTV, no problem.
yeah.
You can fix anything with silicone seal.
I'm telling you, that and duct tape, man. That's all it takes.
So what's going on here? It looks like they have.
Well, they have a line. That's
Yeah, but this could be a dog and pony show. When the Model S back in I think it was 2010 or so when they first sort of showed the betas and they had an event at the Fremont factory, they had all the machines just like going through cycles and
Yeah,
like
but
flashing
didn't actually
lights,
do
but nothing was
anything?
actually doing anything. Yeah. And they had like a press and the press was going boop, 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 but yeah, nothing was actually.
no metal
being built
going
in
in
there
and,
yet.
and car comes out, huh?
And yeah, for this line to be real, I can't quite tell what's going on there, but that's it's cool. Well, this is an interesting feature right here. This little cut corner. It was something that I noticed on the. Let me find it. It's something I noticed on the Cybertruck here. I was trying to get a shot underneath here, but and there's that front camera, Mike, that you asked about.
There it is.
But let's see if I can find it real quick.
That is offset, right? It's not in the center.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about that. front camera. So it looks like the license plate would be right here in the front.
Sure.
And
So
then
that's
this
center
camera's to the
essentially.
side of
is-
it.
Yeah.
But like if you actually had a plate mount here, it feels to me that it would occlude some of the view of this camera. I assume this camera is like a fisheye, so you can sort of see left and right, not just straight in front. At least that's what I would hope.
Huh.
Unless the plate gets recessed.
Yeah, I was wondering about that myself, if that is, because it is, if you look there's kind of a bend in that piece of material there. So,
Yeah, and also it seems like U.S. width as opposed to European. But I suppose European could just sit above maybe right here. I don't.
Well, that's a US spec bumper. All you do is change the bumper.
Okay, yeah, I guess they could do that. But anyway,
Like I
let
said,
me
duct
see.
tape.
Oh, this is what I wanted to see. This little let's see. Well, here's something you were talking about earlier, Jerry, about
Panel
this
gap.
sort of line up here. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily a panel gap. I think it's
No,
the tailgate, and when it closes, there's just a little bit of an offset there.
Within the
I'm
spec.
I'm not sure this since it's in all of them. I'm not sure it's by design.
No, that
Yeah.
would be a problem right there.
Anyway, here's that little corner.
Well, I was
But,
actually looking at the top of the bumper where you would put your feet to stand
Oh,
and
well, I see what
look
you're saying.
over the tailgate.
You're saying you get your foot
You get
stuck
that
in here?
wet, you would fall on your face.
Well,
What's
probably put some grip tape or like the skaters do or whatever on there if you're
Well,
really going to step
but,
up
but
there.
who in their right mind would
I don't
stand on
think
their
you, I don't think you need to
Cybertruck?
stand there. You stand.
It's
Stand
this
here, right?
this is what about maybe just a little bit above your it's bottom of your chest, right? So you can probably maybe not do that. If I remember right when I was leaning against it at the supercharger.
Anyway, I assume this little chamfer here is what this is showing.
Probably.
And that,
Would make sense.
Well, it's like that camera you showed earlier. It had kind of that same, the one in the like left front fender well or something.
Okay,
like
so that is a giga casting there. You can
Right.
see it's all one piece.
that.
yeah.
Right. So this is
That's
the front.
impressive.
That's the front of the vehicle, then, huh?
Is it? I don't know. I can't tell.
That's impressive.
This is the front.
Oh, that's the front. Okay. Well,
Uh,
is that it underneath then? If you look at that,
maybe it looks like the same shape.
it looks like the same thing. doesn't
So on the
Yeah.
Ys, they're using giga castings front and rear.
on certain
Yeah.
wise.
And well, the dual motors, and I think they want that rigidity because of the motor.
So here's
got
the
right
front
there.
drive unit. Maybe that casting we saw before was the front because that's the.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know why it's dragging like that.
You know what I'm impressed with Tesla is how compact the motors are versus the amount of power they can get out of them.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically. I don't think this is a newer motor than what's going on in your, in the later X's. So. Well, that's interesting.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So here's like this is another accessory
Little
that
pop-up.
Tesla's going to have. So yeah, the question is, will the HVAC, work through there? Will you be able to get that air through there? Oh, here are the seats you're asking about.
And that's the battery pack.
They seem kind of wide. They seem reasonable. People were disappointed because they kind of wanted a front bench, and
Well, I thought that was original spec.
yeah, perhaps that's kind of a retro thing. Does anyone offering a front bench now? I think you can flip down the armrest or something to get a front, or flip up the armrest to get a front.
I don't know. With
bench in some cars.
would you meet all the safety standards if you did something like that?
Yeah,
I
don't
think.
know, man.
Yeah, that seems a tough nut to crack.
Hmm.
Ah, there's more on the.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
cool accessory, and it's nice that it's designed for it. But yeah, I don't see anything. This part looks to be above.
That's the roof, isn't it?
Yeah, so this
yeah, you're
looks to be
seeing there?
above the. So I guess what would you put on here? Would you actually be able to sit on that? Is this sturdy enough for someone to sit in?
Let's
So it
hope
looks
so.
like it's not connecting to the HVAC at all, right? Because this window looks above the whole vehicle, and this is a solid piece here. So that's a little bit of a disappointment, I guess. But that looks pretty. Well, it's a fisheye lens, but
Yeah.
that looks pretty
Looks
spacious.
looks like it comes with padding and everything too. So.
Padding, and they do this,
Oh
polygon
yeah, yeah.
thing.
I didn't notice that till you pointed that out. Like that kind of diamond, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call the brand.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Yeah. So hey, this looks cool. So just execute and do all the other things that you promised to do, and easier said than done.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Here's the
Oh, they have the cap off the camera there.
charging port.
Oh,
No,
that's
it's
the charging port.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
wonder how many of those will be replacing over Oh, we get dividers in the storage under the frunk.
Keep everything from sloshing around under that acceleration in the quarter mile.
Well, it's the way those were there. It's for side to side, right? I mean, they were 3 by.
Here's Marquez Brownlee, complaining. Says Tesla Cybertruck is notably the first time that Tesla is straight up not delivering on some of the key specs they promised. Promised specs: 500 plus mile range, $70,000.
Yeah.
Delivered 340 mile range, $100,000.
Yeah. You can buy your Rex. Someday.
Yeah, Tesla and others have taken the stance that the thousands of pounds of extra battery required to deliver 500 miles of range with today's battery technology is not worth the hit to driving dynamics. At this point, I can't be surprised if Roadster 2.0 has nowhere near 600 mile range either. Yeah, of course. He said 600 mile. He did say that with the Roadster.
I didn't remember that. So.
Yeah.
600 mile range, and that was 2017 when that was
Good luck
announced.
with that.
So it's
It's
been 6 years for that one.
I don't know.
So
I gotta say though, I will agree with that statement to some degree because my standard range, plus, which is roughly 200 miles of range,
Was that Monroe right there?
is
yeah,
very
Sandy.
good. Yep.
Yeah, Sandy Monroe.
There's a video going around of him driving a Cybertruck. So, did we finally get to see this crash?
There's the crash videos.
This is that that April Fool's joke where it just kept going and then just stopping right before. So let's see. Let me.
Looks
think
pretty
about
rigid.
that.
Yeah, I don't think you can fake those, right? I
No,
assume
no,
the DOT has standards on those. That,
Yeah. So the
So
my
the
question is about
rollover's
the
pretty
front-
cool.
The front crumple.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So I guess it does have some.
So it looked like the
Fold
whole
points.
windshield just popped straight out.
yeah. In one piece, right?
Right. Looks like it.
Yeah.
Where do you see that? I
Go-
see the
go back to the
windshield
windshield.
wiper.
Is that the
Here's
wiper I'm
windshield
seeing?
Wiper. Yeah.
Or is
you're
that the
seeing wiper
windshield?
pop up? Let's see. Here's the airbag. It looks like there's a little bit of buckling here.
Yeah, that's the windshield, isn't it?
But
Moving
it's
up.
still
Yeah,
there,
but,
shattering here, I guess.
isn't that glass towards the top?
Yeah,
It looks like it.
Yeah, but it's shattering there. Let's
Yeah.
see. Okay, it's breaking though.
Yeah.
Oh, that was again, that was the wiper blade. Let's see. This thing flopping around here is the wiper blade. This thing
Yeah.
right here.
Okay.
So,
Side impact looks pretty good.
yeah, that
Yeah,
looks excellent.
that's not a lot of. It didn't intrude into the cabin at all. I don't think on that.
I gotta say the rollover test is impressive.
We've seen the ones with the X, right? It's
Yeah,
very,
I
Yeah.
very
mean, pretty much
similar.
all the Tesla rollover tests look like that.
Yeah, they just don't roll.
It's all that mass is way down here. So it's,
But I gotta say, on that front collision, I was expecting more of a crumple zone. But if it meets spec, it meets spec.
yeah, I mean, I'm still curious about things like pedestrian safety standards and you know. So anyway, we should start to wrap. Let's see if there are any other
Okay.
comments that should be addressed here. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, so Stefan says, yeah, the vehicles are probably hand built and not going home today. I would guess that that's probably true. And Molly is, we're driving a Cybertruck across the country. Oh, they were driving a Cybertruck
They,
across
they,
the country.
the
You must be
nebulous
talking
they.
about Sandy and, or I don't know who you're talking about, but they. So that's cool. Let's see. I don't know what that refers to because it's too long. And then let's see. Rocky says, someone just posted that on the website. It shows the Cybertruck being able to backfeed your house through the Tesla Universal Wall Connector.
I really wish mine could do that.
Yeah, yeah.
There is
yeah.
a NEMA 1450 outlet in the bed. So I guess you could certainly do that.
The V to G capability then would be, or V to H, I guess.
Yeah, whatever they're calling it.
Vehicle to home. You know.
Yeah.
So, well, vehicle to whatever, right? If you can just
Yeah,
plug
yeah,
it in.
whatever you got to plug into. But what do you have to buy on the home side?
Yeah, yeah. V to L is what they tend to call it, right?
Oh,
Or
V to
V to
L.
load.
Okay. You load. Okay.
But not why not V to V? If you just plug in your you know,
You could probably do it intermittent, right?
plug in
Right.
your
Power the
mobile
home.
charger.
Yeah, I've got you could power the home and then hook your charger up to
Yeah.
that. So,
Now what you do is you take your mobile charging unit, you plug that into the outlet, and then you plug it into the vehicle, and then you have
yeah.
it just charges itself.
Self-charging.
Yes. Perpetual motion, is that what
Yeah,
you've
exactly.
invented here? Infinite loop.
That's so funny. You know, years ago there was some EV, and it was backed by some Korean church, and they had a car. This was back in like 2009 or something, and and they had this car, and it had all these like little windmills on it, all these little wind turbine things that were like maybe this big, but the car was just covered with it. And they're driving down the road,
self-charging.
and it's like perpetual motion. They're like, wow, they don't even have to charge it.
Physics doesn't quite allow that, but go for it.
Let's see, what was one thing? Rocky says, it said if you already have a Powerwall that has a necessary interface gateway, then it just needs a wall connector. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you need some smarts to do that in a reasonable way, and in which case that battery just kind of acts as another Powerwall. But yeah, you need the brains. So, okay, well, hey, how about we wrap up?
Yep.
You know, thanks guys for.
That's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this was a more interesting, event, I guess. We kind of complained about the AI event because it was so late in the evening and
so
so
long.
long. And I think you were there with us, weren't you, Jerry,
Yeah, oh yeah.
for that event?
That's what I
And
do all day. So.
yeah, it was so long. Whereas this, we basically just had two questions from the presentation. What's the actual range? What's the cost? And they didn't answer it in the presentation for some reason. Probably they anticipated that there might be a not so happy reaction from the audience, so they just skipped it all together. And you can go look it up on the website, sort of thing. And that's probably a wise decision. Hey, that was interesting, and thanks everybody for coming, and thanks to our audience and people that commented, and thanks to our producers who were no shows today. Just kidding.
Ouch.
Danny helped out, and anyway, see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
Cheers.